Imagine a moment you wake up tomorrow morning and you are told you are the Prime Minister of India, but for a day, for only one day. So, what will you do? Or what would you do? So, would you bring a change in the present tax system, or will you make better roads, or would you create more jobs, or will you create more sustainable growth or greenery planet, and what will you do? So good evening friends. Anthony here. Next 3 minutes I will be speaking about if I become a president or prime minister of a country for a day. I would do few things. One is, instead of what the country has done to me, I would just refocus what I have done for the country, and from that standpoint, what is very important, probably the education to me, and I will give you a few examples and call for an action review, and I'll conclude. Yes. So I were a prime minister for a day, I would do something slightly different. I would focus on the mindset. So what can I do for the country more than what I expect the country should do for me? So I will never forget simple lesson I have learned in my professional journey. Whenever we face problem, the first and foremost thing is we will try and see who is responsible for it. But the better question is, what can I do about it? So imagine if every Indian, or say from a student to a CEO, from a farmer to a big government employee, so they start thinking the same way. So the mindset could transform every individual subjects of the country, and that would transform the country itself, right? So my dear friends, let me ask you, what would India do to look like, say, if every child received a quality education? I feel the education, when educate a person, it automatically transforms their life, and they can go and generate their own livelihood or employment. And what if every citizen is treated with cleanliness, safety, honesty, and responsibility, not the only the government job, but as everybody's job it is. So if I had just one day to as a prime minister, I would focus on three major priorities. Number one, I would focus on education. Number two, I would empower the people, and number three, I would make a better and empowered subjects. So first, education. So I would make a quality education system and digital access available to every child, especially those from underprivileged background and communities. And second, the skill. So as a young population, or in the world, so our country stands as number one in the youngest populated country. So the skill, I would connect education with skill and industry, and with the young people. So the jobs and the future ready, and the entrepreneurial skills like when it is improved, automatically, like the people will get employed, employability goes up, and they create enough and more opportunities for the jobs. And number three, empowerment. So I would also create the national movement of responsible citizenship, where the clean surroundings, say safer roads and safe drivings, so respect the public property, and care not to the environment, and take care of the senior citizens, because every nation so cannot be transformed by the government alone, but it is every individual citizens or subjects responsibility is that. So it takes citizens say like to be let Indian become a nation where every citizen has an opportunity. So let us educate and build that skill and empower our people. So let's do that, and we will gain a stronger economy, better communities, and more confident citizens or generations, and act as if like we enjoy the pride of knowing that we are not just living in India, but we are all like together building India, right? So let me review with these 3 points. Educate the child. If I become a prime minister, I will remember these 3 things I wanted to do. One is educate the child, skill the youth, and empower the nation or the citizens. So if I do these three, I'm sure so it will certainly take my country transformed. So the call to action will be like tomorrow we can each do one thing. So teach someone if you have something to teach. Help someone by developing their skills. Keep our surroundings clean so that you create a safe and clean nature. Mentor a young person, or simply take responsibility of writing for someone else instead of just speaking. Put some actions around it. So when we do so, believe me, my dear friends, so India doesn't need 140 crore prime ministers. So everybody becoming a prime minister, but it all needs is so everyone now should act responsibly, should work towards our common goal of becoming a better citizens. So we don't need one day to change India. We need change. We can change India every single day as we progress. On this note, thank you very much.